Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. In this episode we're back on the MR2. We are going to be installing some front LED indicators. We are going to be hopefully refitting the front number plate. We have a battery to install with some trickle charger connections, a custom brace to hold the battery in place, and finally working on the horn. Hopefully you can get all that done this episode. Stay tuned. So we have indicators in the car at the minute. The side indicators, someone has put them on the front. One's fallen off, but I have got it, but we have the two front ones. The problem we got is, firstly, they're side indicators. They're not big enough, not powerful enough to be for the front, for the MOT to pass. Secondly, the bulb is that small. When you use the correct bulb for that actual indicator itself, the indicators flash like mad, and that's because the current isn't high enough. So we need to basically swap out the front indicators with some better ones, and I've picked up these typical LED indicators, quite expensive, £20 a piece. So not exactly a cheap fix. The reason why I got these is because these are small and low profile. The guy before me has actually drilled holes in the bumper for the side indicators to fit in the front. So ideally you probably should fill that with some fiberglass and repaint it. I'm just going to reuse the hole that's already there. Hopefully these should be big enough to cover the hole, and the area is fairly flat, so these should be okay. They have got a slight curve to them, not much, but a slight curve. So hopefully these will just screw in, and I can just literally connect the wires to the existing wires already there, and we should be able to call that one done. Should mention, I picked up some LED load resistors. The idea of these is to stop the light from flickering. The current situation I have is that the bulb is too small, so when you put the indicator on the dash it flicks like mad, usually indicates you got a blown bulb, but in this case it's just because the bulb's too small. We're fitting these LED lights. The issue I'm going to have is probably the same, in that it won't detect enough current going through this, so they will flash like crazy on the dash. These will basically make the car think that the right current is going through, in which case these will flash at the right rate, and on the dash the little triangle, the little arrow, will start flashing correctly and we'll have no issues. These get very hot. Do not attach these to anything plastic. Don't let them hang around, because if they touch anything that could melt, it will melt. So I will drill two small holes in the chassis or some piece of metal and affix that to that, then run the wires where they need to go, and hopefully that will stop that from melting anything that I don't want melting. This is the indicator. This will basically just stick onto the bumper itself. It's got some 3M tape, which is quite nice and simple, easy install. The text goes that way around, so it'll obviously go like this. This is your signal wire, this is your ground. This will go back to the actual loom that's already in place, so you can literally just chop the ends off and put these in place. This resistor, easiest way to install it, doesn't matter which way it goes. One on the signal, one on the ground. Put that into the loom, wire it all in, and you should be good to go. So the installation of the front indicators went perfectly fine. He's 2 of these up and these seem to be doing the job. I did have to move the indicators, as you guys have seen in the footage. I had to move them up to the right hand side of the hole, so I'll have to, unfortunately, have to put some fiberglass in that hole and fill it and paint it and all that good stuff. But indicators are working, so the next thing is the front number plate, so let's get that done now. So this is what I've ended up with. Now I've had to change these bolts, so these were much smaller and silver, and now they're black and much larger. But basically all I've done is make my own rear bracket. I've put some holes in the front bumper, so once this is all in place, this will sit on the front at a slight angle, kind of like this. So the next step is these side indicators. Now I currently don't have any indicators installed. These were the original front indicators, but these are actually genuine Toyota MR2 side indicators. I've went out and picked up some brand new ones of these, so let's go out, put some holes in the fiberglass panels at either side of the car and get the brand new side indicators installed, and we'll call that done.
Side indicators are installed, these are complete, and the wiring harness has all been tied up nice and neatly. So I've been and pulled this guy out because the headlamp and the full beam lamp were actually upside down. You can tell because these numbers here at the side. And also on the rear are some arrows. So whoever installed these before had put these in upside down. So I've just drilled some new holes, made the hole slightly bigger. Also, this is attached to a bracket which goes to the chassis. That bracket wasn't even attached, the screw actually broke off, so this thing was just wobbling around in the front. So if you can imagine driving at night with these headlights upside down, pointing upwards, and this shaking around, it's not great. So these are repaired, this is ready to go back in the car. I've repaired the brace, so I'll put this back in and we'll call that done also. So this is the mesh that came with the car. This is the side piece, it goes near the side indicator. This is the front bottom left, this is the centre, from bottom right, and then the side piece. Now the side pieces are perfectly fine, but the front, you can see that someone at one point has actually put indicators in the front of this car. This one isn't too bad. The orange paint mark is where I need to cut, so this side piece here can be trimmed in the top corner. This one here, I can actually trim off this and move this up, and that will actually fill the whole entire area, so I won't see this big hole. The middle bit is fine, there's quite a bit extra on the middle bit. But on the right hand side, they've put the indicator here. I've had this up against the bumper, and as you can see, if I cut this orange paint line here, this is going to be right in the middle. So that is no good. The side piece is okay, but this is no good. However, because the middle bit is so much bigger, if I cut this line here, this will leave me this excess. I'm hoping that will be enough. As you can see, they're very similar sizes. I'm hoping this excess can become the side piece. So let's get this trimmed down, clean it up, sand it up, prep it, and lay down some paint and get all these panels black. Probably give this a layer of paint as well, and then once they're all dry, the number plate can go in and the mesh can go back onto the car. It's important to note that when cutting this, as you can see, if you look down at this angle, it's quite dark. If you flip it around, it's pretty much transparent. That's because of the angle of the mesh. So it's important to make sure that the mesh goes all the same way, which is this way. You should be looking down, it should look darker. So I'll make sure all these are facing the right way, because if I put this one like this and then this one like this, which is actually upside down, when you stand back and look at the car, you'll be able to clearly tell the two different meshes. So make sure it's right around, and let's get this painted. It is the next day, the paint has cured, looking pretty good. So that is the front grille. We have the side grills, and then the very side grills that go on the next to the side indicators. And the number plate is fully installed. As you can see, the paint is taken really well. This is the paint I use, in case you guys are wondering. I've used this for years, I've used it on loads of projects, I love it. It's direct to metal, so very little prepping required. It always gives you a good coat. It is really cheap, it's quite affordable, and it's simple to use. So let's take these and put them back onto the MR2. The mesh on the front of the car is installed, looks fantastic, it should do the job. The next step is the horn, so let's get the horn installed. So we've got the horn coming from the harness, which is the brown and greeny wire, and that then goes to the switch, which then comes back out to a ground, and that will sound the horn. So the horn is installed, that is all working, that is finished, all tied up. So the next step is the side lights. Now, as you guys remember, in the previous videos I did actually do some side lights. These go into the headlamps and they give like an angel eye effect. However, one side has stopped working, and on closer investigation, the terminals at the top there have corroded. I have plenty left, so I could make some more, that's not a problem, but I just don't trust them. This car has never actually been driven on the road yet. This is just, it's November, the damp is coming in, and this is corroded because of the damp. Now, yes, I could put some epoxy on here, I could put some silicone, but I don't trust the design. The light on the left does not work, the one on the right has a very low output. That is because of resistance in the wire. I've checked it with my multimeter and it does have resistance. Resistance is not good because that generates heat, generates fires, and for the effect it is most definitely not worth it. So I've been out, picked up some LED side lights, we'll put these in. They won't look too pretty, they look kind of modern I guess. I'm basically just going to use the holes of the previous indicators. These kind of match up good enough for what I need them to, so I'll put them in there for the time being, wire them up, and then we'll call that done. So the side lights look okay, they'll definitely do the job for the MOT. The next step is the battery. The battery at the front of the car is not mounted down anywhere, it's just loose. This will not pass a UK MOT. So I've got this piece of steel, I'm going to put another hole here, I'm going to put a couple of bends in. This will kind of bolt down at the front of the battery and then curve over the battery. I'll put a bit of foam in between here, just to kind of make it look like it's actually doing more than it actually is. Because really, it should be bolted down somewhere at the back, but I've actually got nowhere to bolt it down unless I drill into the firewall, which I don't really want to do. Not at the minute anyway, so I'll kind of rig this up, put it on, and that'd be better than nothing. So, I think that's about it. The horn is working, the side lights are working, the battery is in place, everything's back together on the car. So I'm going to take some electrical tape, some cable ties, and just tidy the rest of the car up. Basically off camera, I'm just going to go over the car, inspect it, make sure it's finished basically, or at least to the standard where it can be MOT'd. So the MR2 is insured, it's taxed. The MOT was supposed to be happening next month, which will give us plenty of time to finish the rest of the car, get the car on the road, tax insured, drivable just before Christmas, ready put away for the season, and then in spring bring it back out and we can take it out for driving. However, the insurance company got back in touch because I've either entered some incorrect details or they've changed something on their side, I'm not too sure what. They've cancelled the insurance policy. They've given me 7 weeks of cover, so that basically leads till tomorrow. So I've had to quickly, as you guys have seen in the footage, finish the MR2 to a standard where it will pass an MOT. I'm hoping it will pass an MOT. The MOT is booked in for this afternoon, so I've just caught it in time. So the next step is to take the car for the MOT. So I think we'll call this video here, guys. I have no idea how long it is. I don't even know what I've covered. This has been going on for about 2 weeks, so I've kind of crammed quite a lot into basically the last 2 weeks of the build, but hopefully it's enough for the MOT. So I think we'll call this video here. So like always, guys, thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment down below, and I'll see you in the next one.